Hello, everyone. You're welcome back to this another edition of A Positive Word. Thank you for joining me. I hope you are having a good day. The focus for this session today is the questions you ask, the questions we ask. We live in a world where it seems like we're not supposed to ask questions. And it's sad because in my experience nowadays, I see people just believing and swallowing stuff, hook, line, and sinker, without being curious, like, why is this happening? Why am I supposed to do this? Why am I supposed to just believe and go along with whatever I've heard or seen? We must come back to asking the right questions. Asking the right questions will help us run our lives and do things right, especially as children of God. We will do things to please God. When we look at Mark chapter 2, from verse 6 to 11, we see the account of the paralytic man whose 4 friends had to break the roof to give him access to where Jesus was at the time. However, there were those who had the huge titles to their names who were displeased that the man and his friend had the faith to have done what they did to help him. Those scribes got greatly offended, and Jesus asked them why they questioned what had happened in their hearts. Those people didn't feel good about what the miracle that had happened to the paralytic man. Jesus questions them. He asks them the right question. This is what we should be doing. Yes, something good had happened, but those people were dissatisfied. What questions are we supposed to ask ourselves? In 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, we're told to test yourselves to see if you're in the faith. Examine yourself. In carrying out this examination, in testing ourselves to see if we're still in the faith with God, we're supposed to ask questions, question our beliefs, question the things we hear. Just be curious enough to want to find out why things are happening. Quality questions will create a quality life. Successful people ask better questions, and as a result, they get better answers. So if we are going to be successful, we must cultivate the habit of asking questions. Are you asking the right questions, my friend? When you ask the right questions, that is half the problem solved already. That's how it works. Not every question is useful or helpful, as I've come to find out. Sometimes just let it go. And it is not everyone who is asking questions that is looking for the right answer either. So it's the Spirit of God in us who helps us to be able to ask the right questions at the right time too. Hence, we are told in 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, the Spirit who lives in us is greater than the Spirit who lives in the world. Greater is he that is in me than who is in the world. This Spirit of God who lives in us will enable us to ask the right questions. In today's world, you will agree with me, people use questions to guilt trip others. They use it to raise barriers and blind people from seeing the truth. That's not what it should be. It is not enough to be clinical, cynical, or critical. We must endeavor to ask the questions which will yield positive response. What questions are you asking, my friend, as things are thrown your way? Psalms 139, verse 23 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts." The questions we ask sometimes have been in our hearts lingering there, but we need skills to ask, to know those questions and ask what is right. Our questions should investigate the truth, not to avoid having to think deeply about our views, our stance, our dispositions, our decisions, choices in our lives. We shouldn't use questions to shroud things, but rather our questions should be able to be our journey on finding out what the truth is. We're told to not believe every spirit, but rather to try every spirit whether they are of God. In 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. And that is one way to ask questions, trying the spirits, because not everyone who comes to us has come in the name of God. Like we know, the false prophets are everywhere around us. Everywhere you turn, these people are there. They've come in the name of God, disguised, wolves in sheep's clothing. We must be vigilant. Hence, when we ask the right questions, we will be able to fish them out, to unravel the truth about them. May God soften our hearts so that we will begin to genuinely ask questions, to get to know the truth, and not simply follow the bandwagon into believing every lie that is churned out today. There's so much lie, deceit, counterfeit in the world that will confuse everyone, even the most upright, standing person. My dear, what questions are you asking? Allow God to help you so that the truth that you know will continue to prevail. I thank you for joining me today. Until I come your way again, it's goodbye for now. God bless you as you ask the right questions.